Hello, English learners, and welcome. I'm your host, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing well, thank you. Excited to chat about English learning today.
You know that feeling, right? Where English just,
Yeah.
it lives inside your head.
Mm-hmm.
You can read stuff, understand movies, maybe even type out a pretty good email.
Yeah, totally.
But then when you actually go to, like, open your mouth and speak, it's like crickets.
Yeah.
Nothing wants to come out.
Yeah.
Your brain feels totally full of English, but your mouth just feels completely stuck.
Oh, absolutely. That frustration, it's incredibly common, understanding it all, but then struggling to actually speak fluently,
Yeah.
confidently.
Yeah.
It's like this invisible wall, isn't it? Between comprehending and actually producing the language.
Exactly. An invisible wall. And that is precisely what we are diving deep into today.
Good.
Our mission really is to dig into how you can bridge that exact gap, how you move from just, well, thinking in English to actually speaking it.
Right.
We want to help unlock all that English you already know, stuff in your head, and finally get it out there with, confidence.
And we'll be looking at some really practical, actionable tips, drawing on common experiences people have, offering simple strategies that work, well, pretty much wherever you are on your English journey.
Yeah, keeping it beginner friendly too.
Definitely. The aim is just to make it feel approachable, maybe even a bit encouraging.
Because there's this thinking trap that so many of us fall into.
The thinking trap.
You can follow a conversation, you get the grammar mostly,
Yeah.
but the second you need to jump in and say something, your mind just blanks.
Yeah, poof.
People often say, I know exactly what I want to say, but the words just don't come out fast enough. Or maybe I'm always translating everything in my head and it just makes it all so slow and messy.
It's like your brain is trying to juggle maybe too many things at once.
Exactly.
Good translating, finding the perfect word, the grammar check. And by the time you've done all that internal gymnastics, the chance to actually speak has often just evaporated.
Yeah, it's gone.
I remember this one student, brilliant writer in English, fantastic essays, really showed a strong grasp.
Wow.
But in just a casual chat, ask something simple like, so how was your weekend? And complete freeze.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
The knowledge was definitely there, but the path to actually saying it felt totally blocked.
We've all been there or seen it happen, right? And it's just so important to realize this isn't like a sign you're bad at English.
Not at all.
It's more about your brain still being primarily in that thinking mode.
Right? Planning mode.
Yeah, it's busy planning, processing, but it hasn't quite built that comfortable sort of automatic link to actually speaking.
And while that's, a totally natural phase when you're learning a language,
Sure.
you really do need to actively work on shifting into speaking mode.
Yeah.
If you don't make that conscious effort, you can get stuck in that thinking zone.
Waiting for perfection.
Exactly.
Right.
Always waiting for some imaginary moment when you feel perfectly ready to speak. And honestly, that feeling rarely just shows up on its own.
Right. Fluency isn't about hitting some, mythical level of perfect grammar.
Not at all.
It's about actively using the language, engaging with what you already know, even if it's not, straight out of a textbook.
Speaking is a skill, just like riding a bike or playing piano.
Yeah.
You only get better by actually doing it. Even those small, consistent things, like making a point to just say one sentence out loud in English every day.
Just one.
Just one. That can start to build that really crucial bridge between your thoughts and your spoken words.
Okay, so that bridge.
Yeah.
And a really key piece of building it, you mentioned, is actually thinking in English.
Yes, this is huge. It's so fundamental for getting more fluent.
People really underestimate this, don't they? How much that habit of constantly translating from your native language can hold you back.
They really do. It's not that your first language is bad, of course not.
No.
But that constant mental back and forth, the translation step,
Yeah.
it just adds an extra layer, slows everything down.
Right, it's like an extra hurdle.
Exactly. It creates this two-stage process where ideally there'd just be one. First, the thought in your native language, then you have to consciously convert it.
Which takes time.
Takes time, takes mental energy, and that leads straight to hesitation, maybe a less smooth delivery.
Okay, quick example. Let's say you want to say, I went to the store to buy some fruit.
Okay.
If you're translating, you're thinking of each word in your language first. Ooh.
Right. Then searching for the English match. And sometimes the word order is different, isn't it?
Oh, yeah.
Or maybe there isn't a perfect one-to-one translation for a word, or even how the grammar works, like fruit. Maybe your language groups it differently.
Good point.
So that word-by-word thing can feel really clunky, and you're more likely to make mistakes, too.
Totally. Now imagine that same thought just popping into your head directly in English.
I went to the store to buy some fruit.
Yeah. The words would just flow more naturally, wouldn't they?
Yeah.
And faster.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's a much more direct path, and that's the real advantage of thinking in English. It cuts down the time between the thought and the spoken word significantly, which means more fluency, not just accuracy, but that natural rhythm, the flow of real chat.
And it's more than just speed, right? You said it helps kind of rewire the brain.
It really does. You start to see the world, your experiences, your feelings, even what you intend to do directly through the lens of English.
Interesting.
It's like creating this sort of internal English zone in your mind.
Okay.
And over time, that makes speaking feel much more instinctive, less like you're doing mental translation exercises all the time.
And the good news is you don't have to start with like super complex philosophical thoughts in English.
Definitely not. Start simple.
You can just begin with really basic phrases.
Yeah.
Even just consciously thinking, I am drinking water, or, oh, the sky is blue today. That's already a big step.
It absolutely is, because the more you do those basic internal chats, the easier it gets to then say things out loud without that big pause first.
Your brain and your mouth start working together better.
Exactly. That coordination, that's what we're really aiming for when we talk about moving from thinking mode to speaking mode.
Okay.
So if you recognize that you've been leaning heavily on translation, hey, don't beat yourself up. It's a really normal stage.
Right.
But maybe starting now, try to make a deliberate effort. Think in English, even just those short everyday things you notice.
Yeah, those tiny shifts in your internal monologue, they can really make a difference in how fluently you speak later on.
They really can.
Okay, so coming up, we're going to break down exactly how you can actively make that transition, moving from always thinking about English to actually speaking it. Some really practical, manageable steps.
All right, so we've talked about this common thinking trap and why thinking in English is so important for fluency.
Yeah.
Now, let's get really practical. How do you actually make that jump from thinking mode to speaking mode day to day? What are the actual steps?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
So let's just quickly clarify what we mean. Thinking mode, that's often, silently building sentences in your head.
Meticulously choosing words.
Mentally checking the grammar rules.
Yeah.
And often, worrying about mistakes.
Right. Whereas speaking mode is more about letting yourself just go with the flow of the conversation.
Responding more spontaneously.
Yeah, responding more spontaneously, not getting totally bogged down in analyzing every single word before it comes out.
So in thinking mode, you're prepping, but not actually doing.
Exactly. You're getting ready, but you're not doing the speaking. And here's the crucial bit, I think.
Okay.
The most direct way, maybe the only way, to get into speaking mode is, well, you just have to start speaking.
Simple as that.
Kind of. Even if you don't feel 100% ready or totally confident, you just got to jump in.
It's like learning to swim by reading a book about swimming strokes.
Exactly.
You can study the theory all day, but you won't learn until you actually get in the water and start moving.
Perfect analogy. So a really good first step is to consciously start using short, simple sentences during your day. And the key part, say them out loud.
Out loud.
Like, if you're making coffee, just say aloud, I am making coffee, or this coffee smells good.
Right.
These tiny little verbalizations, they help your brain connect the thought to the physical act of speaking. And it's low pressure, right? You're just talking to yourself.
And it has to be out loud, not just in your head.
Yes, definitely emphasize that. Speaking out loud is key. When you physically make the sounds, your brain strengthens that pathway between the thought and the speech muscles.
Okay, that makes sense.
That's really where the foundation for fluency starts getting built. And in these early stages, try not to get hung up on perfect grammar.
Oh, that's a relief.
Yeah. The main goal initially is just expressing your meaning, getting the idea out. So if you accidentally say, I go store yesterday.
Instead of, I went.
Right. It's okay. The important thing is you used your voice, you tried to communicate the thought. That's progress.
Okay, focus on expression over perfection, and first anyway.
Absolutely. Mistakes are not just okay, they're actually part of how you learn. The more you let yourself speak, even with errors, the more your brain naturally starts to notice patterns and self-correct over time. That's just the magic of practice.
Okay.
Another really useful thing is to actively create chances to speak, even if there's no one else around.
Right, you don't always need a conversation partner.
Not at all. Many learners think they do, but you can build your own speaking environment.
How? Like just narrating your day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Describe what you're doing as you do it. Okay, now I'm chopping the onions.
Yeah.
Talk to yourself in the mirror, maybe practice introductions,
Right.
or even make up little scenarios in your head and say both sides of the dialogue. Like, imagine you're at a coffee shop.
Okay, so I'd be like, "Hi, can I get a large cappuccino, please?"
And then you answer as the barista, sure thing. Anything else for you today?
No, that's all, thanks.
Exactly.
Yeah.
By doing those mini conversations, you're training your brain not just to think, but to respond in English.
Ah,
And when you repeat those kinds of things, the responses start to become more automatic. Your mouth sort of knows what to do without needing a big planning session first.
got it. And one more thing, speaking, though, doesn't mean speaking super fast, does it?
Oh, definitely not. Good point. It just means speaking more freely. Your pace might still be quite deliberate, and that's fine.
The goal is flow, not speed.
Precisely. Flow and building confidence. This whole shift, thinking to speaking, it's really about building that vital bridge between what you know about English and actually being able to use it.
Okay, that makes sense. So coming up, we're going to look at some really easy strategies you can use every single day to practice speaking, even if it's just you. Stay with us.
Okay, so now that we've talked about thinking in English and starting that shift into speaking mode,
Yeah.
let's get into some actual strategies, concrete things you can weave into your daily routine to practice speaking, even when you're totally on your own.
Exactly. And the great thing is you don't need like a formal class or even another person for these.
Nope.
You can do them at home, when you're walking, doing chores, whenever. So what's strategy number one?
All right, number one, talk to yourself. Engage in self-talk.
Okay, might feel a bit weird at first.
It might, but it's so effective. Just describe what you're doing out loud in English. Okay, I'm now opening the fridge. Need to put on my shoes. Right, must remember to buy milk later.
Okay,
It builds fluency, but without any pressure.
I like that. It's always available. Okay, strategy number two,
Number two is shadowing.
shadowing. Okay, what's that?
It's where you listen to a native English speaker, maybe on YouTube, a podcast you like, a movie clip,
Uh-huh.
and you immediately repeat what they say right after them. Try to copy their pronunciation, their rhythm, their intonation, even the speed.
Oh, interesting. So you're mimicking them.
Exactly. What's cool is how it helps you internalize the natural music of English, the rhythm and flow that you don't always get from a book.
Right, it trains your mouth muscles too, I guess.
Precisely. It trains the muscles to move more like a native speaker's. It might feel really fast or tricky at first,
I bet.
but if you stick with it, it's fantastic for your pronunciation and rhythm.
Okay, shadowing.
Yeah.
Got it. What's number three?
Number three, record yourself speaking. Ooh, scary, huh? It can feel a bit awkward, but it gives you such valuable feedback. Just pick a simple topic what you did today, your plans for the weekend.
Okay.
Speak for maybe 1 or 2 minutes, record it on your phone, then listen back.
And cringe.
Maybe a little at first, but try to listen constructively, like you're giving friendly feedback. Notice where you sound confident. Notice things you might want to tweak. It really helps track your progress.
Okay, constructive listening. Good tip. Number four.
Number four, check out voice apps or AI language tools.
Technology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There are tons of apps now that use voice recognition. You practice speaking, and they give you feedback on pronunciation.
Like Elsa Speak, those kinds of things.
Exactly. And also, AI chatbots are getting really good. You can have basic conversations with them anytime.
Like a practice buddy in your pocket.
Pretty much. They're available 24/7. Some even correct you or suggest better ways to say things.
Cool. Okay, and the last one for now. Strategy 5.
Number 5, set small, daily speaking goals.
Okay, like what?
Just decide on one little speaking task each day. Maybe today I'll talk about my day for 1 minute, or I'll pretend to order food, or I'll explain how to make toast.
Keep it simple.
Super simple. The key is consistency, not perfection. Even just 2 minutes of focused speaking practice every day builds that habit.
And the habit leads to fluency eventually.
Exactly. It's that consistent practice that really paves the way.
So the message is, you don't need to wait for the perfect moment or person.
Not at all. These small, regular things done consistently make a huge difference in speaking more fluently and confidently.
Great stuff. Okay, coming up next, we're going to touch on some of those mental hurdles that often stop people from speaking and how to get past them.
Right, now let's shift gears slightly and talk about something that can inject a bit more fun, maybe, into practice. Using conversation prompts and doing role plays, even when you're practicing solo.
Role playing. Okay, I can see how that would be useful.
Yeah, it's actually a really powerful tool for language learning. It lets you kind of step into these imagined real life situations
Right.
and actively practice the specific words and phrases people actually use in those situations. Ordering coffee,
Mhm.
asking for directions.
And doing that actively helps it stick.
Exactly. It makes those phrases more available when you actually need them for real. It solidifies your understanding.
And you're saying you can do this alone. You don't need a partner.
Totally alone. Just visualize a common scenario, checking into a hotel, asking for help in a shop, a quick chat with a neighbor,
Okay.
and then just speak both sides of the conversation out loud.
Okay, give us an example, like the hotel check-in.
Sure, you could start playing yourself. Hello, I have a reservation. The name's your name.
Okay.
Then switch to the receptionist role. Good afternoon. Welcome. Let me just pull that up. Ah, yes, here we are. Smoking or non-smoking room for you.
And back to me. Non-smoking, please.
Perfect. See?
Yeah, I get it. You could even write down little scripts first.
You could jot down some ideas, yeah. Or, even better sometimes, just try improvising. Let the imaginary conversation flow.
Okay, what are some other good scenarios?
Oh, loads. Ordering food is classic. Asking for directions to, say, the train station. Booking tickets for something. Introducing yourself at a party. Even practicing answers to common job interview questions.
Ooh, the job interview one is good.
Yeah,
Takes the pressure off of the real thing, maybe.
exactly. And again, maybe record yourself doing the role play.
Listen back, see where you hesitated.
Yeah, listen back. Notice where you felt a bit stuck. Maybe repeat it. It's actually a pretty engaging way to build real confidence. Makes the practice feel more authentic.
So the goal is to make practice feel as real as possible.
Right. Get your brain used to speaking in different situations so when the real situation happens, you feel way more prepared and less likely to freeze up.
Makes total sense.
Yeah.
Okay, up next, a really critical piece of the puzzle. Mindset. Specifically, dealing with that fear of making mistakes.
Okay, before we start wrapping things up, we absolutely have to talk about something really fundamental here. It's crucial for making that shift from thinking to speaking.
What's that?
It's about your mindset. Specifically, consciously deciding to let go of that fear of making mistakes. It can be so paralyzing.
Oh yeah, the fear of getting it wrong. That stops so many people from even trying, doesn't it?
It really does. But here's the paradox. Mistakes aren't something you should try to avoid completely. They're actually essential, a really valuable part of learning.
Essential. How so?
They're proof. Proof that you're trying, that you're actively using the language, pushing your limits. Nobody, and I mean nobody, gets fluent without making tons of mistakes along the way.
That's true. Think about how kids learn their first language.
Exactly. They make constant grammar errors, mispronounce things all the time.
And nobody tells them they're failing.
Right. It's just accepted as part of how they learn. They improve because they keep trying, keep talking, even when it's not perfect. Your brain learns a new language in fundamentally the same way.
So waiting for that perfect moment or the perfectly grammatical sentence before you speak.
You could be waiting forever. Real fluency doesn't just magically appear from silent study. It grows out of consistent practice. And practice always involves making mistakes.
Okay, so we need to reframe how we see mistakes.
Totally. Instead of seeing them as failures, try to see them as, like, data points, feedback, opportunities that actually teach your brain something useful about English.
Okay, see them as steps forward.
Exactly. Let's encourage everyone listening to maybe adopt this little mantra. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep speaking.
I like that. I don't need to be perfect. I just need to keep speaking.
That's the kind of mindset that really helps you make real, lasting progress.
Brilliant. Okay, coming up next, we'll quickly run through some handy tools and resources that can give you even more support in practicing speaking more often and feeling better about it. All right, before we wrap things up completely, let's just quickly spotlight some really practical tools and resources, things that can genuinely help you practice speaking English more often and maybe feel a bit more confident doing it.
Great idea. First off, definitely check out some of the language learning apps out there that are specifically built for speaking practice and pronunciation.
Like the ones we mentioned earlier, Elsa Speak, Hello Talk.
Exactly, those kinds. And others like Speak English Now. They often have interactive exercises, give you feedback right away, really useful.
Okay, and you know it's surprisingly useful sometimes? Just Google Translate.
Oh, yeah? How so?
Well, you can speak into it, right?
Ah.
And see how well it understands you, how accurately it writes down your words.
Like a quick pronunciation check.
Yeah, especially if you're unsure about a specific word or phrase. Quick and easy.
Good tip. Another huge resource, of course, is just the sheer volume of YouTube channels and English podcasts.
So much out there.
Make it a habit to actively shadow people, like we talked about. Repeat short bits of dialogue from videos or podcasts you enjoy.
And a lot of them let you slow down the playback speed too, right?
Yeah, that's super helpful, especially when you're starting out with shadowing. Takes the pressure off trying to keep up immediately.
And we should mention AI chatbots again, shouldn't we? Like the tech that helped us plan this deep dive.
Absolutely. These tools are getting so much better. They can genuinely have full conversations with you.
And give corrections.
Yeah, offer corrections on grammar, suggest different ways to phrase things. You can practice talking about pretty much anything anytime you want.
That's amazing, really.
And lastly, maybe think about using journaling apps or even just the voice memo function on your phone.
For a voice journal.
Exactly. Even just recording yourself for 1 minute a day, talking about your thoughts, your day, it all adds up to build that speaking confidence over time.
So the main thing isn't finding the one perfect tool.
No, not at all. The key is just finding tools that work for you and committing to that consistent daily effort, making speaking a regular, normal part of your English learning routine.
Got it. Consistency is king. Okay, coming right up, we've got a final message of encouragement to keep you going on your English speaking journey. All right, everyone, as we get ready to close out, we just wanted to leave you with a couple of final thoughts, some advice, and really just a big dose of encouragement.
Yeah,
We know learning to speak a new language fluently, it can definitely feel like a tough climb sometimes.
we really can.
But please, please remember, you are absolutely not doing this alone. So many people are on this same journey.
That's so true. So tip number 1, just be patient with yourself. Don't feel like you need to rush it.
It's not a race.
Exactly. Fluency is a gradual journey. It's about consistent progress. Focus on the small, manageable steps every day. Even just 5 dedicated minutes of speaking practice daily.
Just 5 minutes.
Just 5. It can make a huge difference over time.
Okay, small steps. Tip number 2.
Tip 2, actively try to weave English into your daily life. Make that conscious effort to speak during your normal activities.
Like narrating your cooking.
Yeah. Narrate your cooking. Talk about what you see on your walk. Chat with yourself while cleaning. The more natural and integrated it feels.
The easier it becomes.
Exactly. Easier and hopefully more enjoyable too.
Okay. And tip number 3.
And tip 3 may be the most important. Be kind to yourself. Be patient with yourself.
Ah,
Seriously, learning a new language is an amazing thing you're doing.
Yeah.
It's huge growth. So acknowledge and celebrate every single word you manage to speak,
even the imperfect ones.
especially the imperfect ones. Each word is a win. It's clear proof you're growing.
Okay, be kind to yourself. I like that. So whether you're practicing alone with these strategies or listening actively or talking to your reflection,
Just keep going.
keep going. You have the ability. You've got some tools now. Believe you can do it.
You're not just learning English, you're building this incredible new skill that's going to open up your world in so many ways.
Definitely.
Thank you so much for spending your time with us for this deep dive today. If you found it helpful, maybe share it with a friend who's also learning English. And definitely subscribe so you catch our future deep dives.
Absolutely. And always remember that key message. Don't just think in English.
Speak it! You have totally got this.
And that brings us right to the end of today's deep dive. We really, really hope you found these ideas and strategies useful, and maybe you feel a bit more ready now, more motivated to make that leap from just thinking about English to actually, speaking it.
Yes, absolutely. Remember, learning to speak is an ongoing journey, right? It's growth, discovery, not some fixed endpoint. Just stay consistent with your practice.
Keep putting yourself out there.
Keep putting yourself out there. Grab those chances to speak, and please, please don't let that fear of mistakes hold you back from reaching your potential.
Every effort counts.
Every single effort is progress. If you enjoyed this, please do subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And hey, if you found it really helpful, leaving a review actually helps other learners find us too.
Yeah, that's great. And definitely share this with friends or family who are also working on their English. The more people we can support, the better.
Totally.
And don't forget, you can check out our YouTube channel too. We often have more in-depth stuff there, practical exercises, all designed to boost your speaking and fluency even more.
And lastly, if you have questions or ideas for topics you'd like us to tackle in future deep dives,
Please let us know.
yeah, reach out. Social media, our website, we genuinely value your feedback and always want to make these chats as helpful and relevant for you as possible.
Thanks so much again for tuning in. And as always, keep speaking.
Keep learning.
And we'll look forward to connecting with you in our next deep dive. Take great care. And seriously, best of luck on your English language journey.